Dark clouds churned outside the window. A restless wind rattled against the glass. I stood there, motionless, heart hammering against my ribs. My fingers trembled against the cool metal of the doorknob. I had seen the text flash across my screen just moments ago, words that made my stomach twist into knots. "Can you help me with my outfit?" It was from Damien, my 18-year-old stepson. A simple request, harmless. But something felt off. My husband, Alara, had left for a business trip just yesterday, and the house already felt emptier. The silence had stretched a little too thin, the absence a little too noticeable. Damien and I had never been close, not in the way some stepmothers and stepsons were. He had always kept his distance, guarded in a way that made me feel like I was intruding on his life. And yet, now he was asking for my help? A sudden thud echoed from upstairs. My breath caught. Was he waiting for me? I hesitated before climbing the steps. Each creak beneath my feet sent a strange ripple through my chest. I swallowed hard, my fingers curling into the fabric of my sweater. My mind replayed the last time Damien and I had a real conversation. Months ago, maybe longer. He was polite, but always watchful. Why now? Reaching his bedroom door, I paused. It was slightly open, a sliver of dim light spilling into the hallway. My pulse quickened. I lifted a hand, pushing it open just an inch wider. He was standing in front of the mirror, shirtless. My throat dried instantly. I should have turned around. I should have walked away. But then, he spoke. "I don't know what to wear." His voice was smooth, controlled. Too controlled. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at himself in the mirror, his reflection unreadable. The air between us felt heavy, weighted by something I couldn't name. For what? My voice came out thinner than I intended. Damien turned his head slightly, but not enough to meet my eyes. "A date." "A date?" I blinked. Since when did Damien date? He had never mentioned anyone before, and Alara, she would have told me if he was seeing someone, right? "Who's the lucky girl?" I asked, forcing a casual tone. He shrugged. "Does it matter?" A strange chill settled at the base of my spine. His face remained expressionless, but something in his eyes flickered, something unreadable, something almost calculating. I cleared my throat, trying to shake off the unease. This was ridiculous. Damien was just a kid, my stepson. There was no reason to feel so tense, no reason to let my mind go places it shouldn't. I took a small step inside. "Well, you have a lot of good options," I said, moving to his closet. "Alara bought you that navy suit." "No." I froze. "I want you to pick it for me." The way he said it, low, measured, like it wasn't really a request, like he was testing me. I turned slowly, forcing myself to meet his gaze. His lips curled into something resembling a smirk. Too subtle, too knowing. My stomach tightened. This wasn't right. The room suddenly felt too small, the walls inching closer. I swallowed hard, forcing a breath through my nose. "Okay, how about this one?" I grabbed a simple black button-up and a pair of dark jeans, turning back toward him. Damien didn't move. His eyes were still on me. The air crackled between us, an unspoken tension threading its way through the silence. I felt my skin prickle under his gaze, analyzing, waiting. Then, slowly, too slowly, he stepped forward. He took the shirt from my hands, his fingers brushing against mine for just a fraction of a second. Longer than necessary, deliberate. My heart stuttered. What the hell was happening? I forced a breath and took a step back, needed space. "Thank you," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "I knew you'd pick the right one." I swallowed hard, offering him a stiff nod before turning toward the door. I had to leave. Whatever this was, whatever strange energy had just passed between us, it wasn't real. It was my imagination. It had to be. But just as my fingers touched the doorknob, his voice stopped me. By the way, I hesitated. Alara's not coming home tonight. My stomach dropped. I turned slowly. What? He leaned against the mirror, watching me, always watching. His lips quirked, but it wasn't a smile. It was something else. She texted me an hour ago. She said her flight got canceled. She's staying another night. A cold dread spread through my veins. I hadn't checked my phone. I hadn't seen the message. You didn't know? He asked, tilting his head slightly. Something in his expression darkened. A slow, suffocating realization crawled up my spine. Why did it feel like he already knew the answer? The kitchen was dimly lit. Only the faint hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. I stood at the sink, gripping the counter too tightly. My breath felt uneven, shallow. I had checked my phone. Alara wasn't coming home tonight. Her message sat there, unread until now. Hey, the flight got canceled. The hotel's booked. Love you. See you tomorrow. No explanation, no call, just a simple matter-of-fact message. I should have felt relieved. Nothing was wrong. But then why did my stomach still feel twisted? Why did Damien already know before I did? I glanced toward the living room. The soft glow of the TV flickered against the walls. Damien was on the couch, one arm draped over the backrest, legs stretched out like he had lived here forever. Like he was comfortable. Like he knew something I didn't. You're being ridiculous, I whispered to myself, turning back to the sink. This is nothing. Damien was a teenage boy. A little odd, sure. But Alara raised him, she trusted him, didn't she? I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Pull yourself together, a perfect life, with hidden cracks. The next morning, the house was filled with golden sunlight, warm and inviting, like nothing had happened. I moved through the routine mechanically, coffee, breakfast, emails. My hands went through the motions, but my mind was stuck in the tension from last night. Damien's words still clung to me, the way he looked at me. Maybe I imagined it. The sound of footsteps broke my thoughts. Morning. Damien's voice was smooth, too calm. I turned. He was already dressed, hairstyled, button-up crisp, the same one I picked for him last night. You're up early, I said, forcing a small smile. Big day, he murmured, pouring himself coffee. The date? Mm-hmm. I watched him from the corner of my eye as he leaned against the counter. The way he stirred his coffee, slow, controlled, and precise. So who is she? I tried again, keeping my voice light. Damien smirked, that same smirk. I told you, does it matter? My stomach tightened. There it was again, that deflection. Alara would want to know, I said carefully. She's not here though, is she? His eyes flickered up, meeting mine dead on. Something in my chest tightened. Alara's absence and unanswered questions. By noon I was pacing. I had tried calling Alara, no answer. A part of me told myself I was overthinking, but the other part? It kept whispering. Damien knew before I did. Why? How? I scrolled through my old messages with Alara, searching for any sign of something off. She had mentioned her trip briefly. Nothing seemed unusual. But then I noticed something. Her messages had become shorter, more distant. No check-ins, no, how's Damien, not even a miss you. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I wanted to ask, are you okay? But before I could type the words, a notification flashed. Damien, leaving now, wish me luck. I swallowed hard. Damien never wished for luck. Signs of something wrong. Hours passed. My mind refused to focus. I worked, I cleaned, I distracted myself. But the unease never left. It only got worse when I walked past Damien's room. The door was slightly open, just enough. I wasn't the kind of stepmother to snoop, but something drew me in. I hesitated before stepping inside. Everything was too clean. The bed was made, the desk empty. But then, I saw his phone charger on the nightstand. His phone was gone. Damien never left without it. And then, the closet door. It was cracked open, my breath caught. I reached for it, my fingers brushing against the wood. Slowly, I pulled it open. And then, my blood turned to ice. A hoodie was crumpled on the floor, but it wasn't his. It was Alara's. I knew it because I bought it for her. My head spun. Why was it here? Had she been in his room? Or worse, had he taken it? Deleted messages, I stumbled back. Heart pounding, I needed answers. I grabbed my phone, scrolling back to my messages with Damien, but then something was missing. I remembered a message from last week. Damien had asked if I was alone that night. I was sure of it. But now, gone. My heart slammed. He deleted it. Why? A cold, sick feeling curled in my stomach. My hand shook as I checked my call log. Nothing stood out, except one thing. Alara's last outgoing call wasn't to me. It was to Damien. The moment I realized something was very, very wrong. The front door slammed. My breath caught. Damien was home. I moved quickly, out of his room, down the hall. I made it to the kitchen just as he walked in. His shirt was unbuttoned at the top, sleeves rolled up. He looked different, satisfied. I swallowed hard. How was your date? He smiled, too slow. Great. Where'd you go? I forced the words past my dry throat. Downtown. Where downtown? He tilted his head, watching me, calculating. You don't trust me? The room felt smaller. My hands clenched. I didn't say that. But you're asking a lot of questions, he murmured. His voice was soft, too soft. A shiver ran down my spine. It's just, Alara called you last night. His jaw tensed. It was quick, barely there, but I caught it. Yeah, he said too casually. She calls me all the time. Something snapped inside. Then why didn't she tell me her flight was canceled before you? Damien froze. His fingers tightened around the chair he was leaning against. He didn't answer right away. The air in the room turned thick, dangerous, and then, slowly, Damien smirked. Maybe she trusts me more than you think. The floor beneath me tilted. His eyes held something dark, something unreadable, something dangerous. Late night, the house felt different. The clock on the stove read 11:43 p.m. I stared at it, unmoving. The house was quiet, too quiet. Alara hadn't called. She hadn't even texted. Damien was in his room. Or at least, he should have been. I told myself to go upstairs, to sleep, to shake this feeling. But my body wouldn't move. Instead, I stood in the dim kitchen, hands braced on the counter, staring at my reflection in the black glass of the microwave. My own eyes looked unfamiliar. What is happening? The sound of footsteps stopped my breath. Slow, steady, approaching from behind. I turned too quickly. Damien stood in the doorway, watching. His shirt was loose, unbuttoned at the top. His posture relaxed. Can't sleep? His voice was soft, too soft. I swallowed. No. He didn't move. The light above cast a shadow over his face, making his eyes darker than usual. Unreadable. You've been acting different, he murmured. A slow chill traced down my spine. What do you mean? He stepped closer. Not too close, but enough. You look at me differently now. My stomach twisted. I gripped the counter, hard. That's not true. Damien tilted his head, his smirk barely there. Then why do you look so nervous? I wasn't nervous. I was something else, something worse. You should go to bed, I forced out, turning away, needing distance, but I heard him exhale a quiet laugh, like he knew something I didn't. Good night, he murmured, the way he said it, slow, deliberate. I didn't turn back, but I felt his eyes on me long after he was gone. The next morning, Damien was still here. Aren't you meeting your friends today? I asked, my voice casual, too casual. Damien stretched lazily on the couch. No rush. I hesitated. Your date? What happened? He smirked at his phone, barely glancing up. It was fine. Fine, just fine. Like it meant nothing, like it wasn't real. Are you waiting for something? I asked. Now, he looked up. Looked. What do you mean? I didn't know. I didn't know what I was asking. Or why, but there was something in his expression. A flicker of amusement, like he was waiting for me to figure it out. I forced myself to leave the room. I needed space, air, clarity. But no matter where I went, I could still feel his presence. Still feel him. The midway twist. Damien was lying. That evening, as the sky dimmed to a moody blue, I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked the security app on my phone. I had to know. I tapped into the front door camera history, scrolling back, looking for Damien. He had told me he went on a date. He had left the house. I saw him leave. But the footage told a different story. I stopped breathing. Damien never left. The camera showed it clearly. He walked out, but minutes later he came back. No car picked him up. No one met him outside. He just waited. And then he came back inside, lied to me for no reason. That night, the house was silent. I was in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the footage in my mind. Why? Why would he lie? What was he waiting for? A part of me wanted to confront him, to storm into his room and demand answers. But another part, the deeper, more primal part, told me to stay still, to be careful. Then, I heard it, a knock on my bedroom door, software deliberate. My breath stopped. I turned my head toward the door, my heart pounding in my throat. Damien, I didn't move. I couldn't. Then his voice, low, quiet. Are you awake? I squeezed my eyes shut. I just wanted to say goodnight. A pause. A long pause. Then the sound of footsteps, slowly walking away. Temptation lingers where uncertainty lives, and I was drowning in it. Midnight. The house was shrouded in silence, the kind that felt unnatural. A presence lingered in the air, heavy, electric, unshakable. I lay in bed, my body stiff, my mind racing. I knew I should be asleep, but my eyes wouldn't close, not after what I had seen, not after what I had felt. Damien had lied to me. He hadn't gone on a date. He had waited outside and then came back. For what? For me? Number, that was insane. And yet, I swallowed hard, my throat dry. The dim glow from the hallway light bled into my bedroom through the slight crack under the door. And then, it disappeared. My breath caught. A shadow. A slow-moving, deliberate shadow. I stayed frozen. My heart pounded in my chest, my ears straining against the silence. The air shifted. The doorknob turned. I gripped the blanket. Hard. The door didn't open, not fully, just an inch, just enough. Are you awake? Damien's voice, low, too close. I squeezed my eyes shut, my breathing shallow. I should answer. I should tell him to go back to his room. I should. The door opened. Damien stepped inside. I couldn't move. I saw your light was off, but I wasn't sure if you were sleeping. His voice was smooth, careful. His silhouette loomed in the dimness, tall, unreadable. Damien. My voice cracked. What are you doing? He hesitated, then, I don't know. The words hung between us, stretching the space, warping the air. I swallowed. My pulse was deafening. I needed to stop this. You should go back to bed, I whispered. He took a slow step forward. I don't think I can. My stomach twisted. Why not? His lips twitched, a flicker of something dangerous. Because you're awake too. I sat up, my hands gripping the sheets. That's not a reason. Isn't it? He exhaled softly, gaze flicking toward the window. The moonlight traced his jawline, his collarbone, and the open space where his shirt hung loose. You've been acting strange, he murmured. Avoiding me. Looking at me like you're afraid. I swallowed hard. I'm not afraid of you. Damien tilted his head, studying me, calculating. Then why are your hands shaking? I looked down. He was right. A sharp silence pressed between us. He was standing too close, too familiar. I think you should go back to your room, I said again, this time firmer, but he didn't move. You don't want me to. The words landed like a dagger to the chest. I inhaled sharply, my nails digging into the sheets. Damien, stop this. Stop what? His voice was quiet, teasing, but his eyes, they were dead serious. This isn't right. Damien stepped closer. My breath hitched. He was within arm's reach now. The air was thick, suffocating. I don't think you believe that. My throat went dry. I do. He exhaled, shaking his head, like he was amused, like he knew something I didn't. And that's when it happened. He reached out. His fingers brushed against mine. Soft, deliberate, lingering. A shiver ripped through me. No! I snatched my hand back like I had been burned and my heart slammed. Go! My voice was barely above a whisper, but he heard it. Damien's expression shifted. Something flashed in his eyes. Something dark. Something like victory. Then slowly, painfully slow, he stepped back. Okay. He didn't argue, didn't push. He just turned and walked away. The door clicked shut behind him. I sat there, breathing too hard, shaking too much. What the hell just happened? The aftermath of the moment I didn't sleep that night. How could I? The ghost of his touch still lingered on my skin. I replayed it over and over. His voice, his eyes, that knowing smirk, and worse, the way I froze. I had let it happen, not because I wanted to, but because for that split second, I didn't stop it. And now? He knew that. The next morning, the sunlight was too bright, too normal. But nothing felt normal anymore. Damien sat at the table, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't stepped into my room last night. Like he hadn't crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. I stood in the doorway, watching him. He lifted his gaze, meeting mine, and then he smiled. Good morning. I felt sick. The air was thick with an unspoken tension. Alara was coming home today. Everything should have felt normal, but it didn't. Not after last night. Not after the way Damien looked at me across the table this morning. Like he knew a secret I didn't. Like he was waiting for me to figure it out. I told myself I would forget it, move on. But deep inside, something was rotting, and then I saw it. The clue that changed everything. I was heading to the laundry room when something caught my eye. A hoodie, Alara's hoodie, stuffed behind the washer, hidden. My stomach dropped. I reached for it, my hands trembling as I pulled it free. The fabric was soft, familiar. but something was wrong. It smelled like him, like Damien. I turned it over, my breath catching in my throat. Lipstick, a faint smudge of lipstick on the collar. My lipstick. The room tilted. Number. The walls closed in, my heart hammering against my ribs. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. Then, a voice behind me. Looking for something? The confrontation. I spun around. Damien leaned in the doorway, hands in his pockets. Calm. Too calm. Why do you have this? My voice came out wrong, weak. He tilted his head, eyes darkening. Why do you think? My breath stopped. He took a slow step forward. You didn't push me away last night. Stop. You let it happen. I said stop. My voice cracked, desperate. Damien's smirk vanished, his gaze sharpened. Are you afraid of what Alara will think? He murmured. Or are you afraid of what it means? My stomach twisted. You don't know what you're talking about, I hissed, my hands clenched too tight. He let out a breathless laugh, shaking his head. Lying to yourself won't change what happened. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because he was right, I didn't stop him. And now, he had me. What are you going to do? He whispered. Tell Alara? Act like nothing happened? The walls felt too close. Then, the front door opened. Honey, I'm home. Alara's voice. Damien's eyes held mine, daring me. I swallowed hard, and I knew. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. Alara's voice echoed through the house. Honey, I'm home. The air turned toxic. My breath stalled. My stomach twisted. Damien stood there, silent, watching me, waiting. The moment was here. Would I tell her? Would I rip this nightmare open and let it consume us? Or would I bury it? Would I let it fester inside me, rotting everything I thought I was? Alara stepped inside, and I couldn't move. Why do you two look so serious? She asked, laughing lightly, setting her bags down. Damien didn't blink. I couldn't breathe. It's nothing, he said smoothly before I could even open my mouth. I turned to him, my pulse hammering. Nothing at all. He held my gaze just long enough to remind me that I let it happen, that I had lost. I forced a shaking breath, plastering on the kind of smile that felt like it belonged to someone else. Just tired, I whispered. And like that, it was done. The secret was sealed. The days turned to weeks. But I wasn't the same. I couldn't look Alara in the eye anymore. I couldn't stand in the same room as Damien without feeling my skin crawling. I wanted to forget, but I couldn't. His words still echoed in my head. His presence still haunted every inch of my home. You didn't push me away. You let it happen. Every moment, every second replayed again and again, a constant, merciless loop. And then, he sent a message. The message that broke me. I stared at my phone. One new message from Damien. My fingers trembled as I opened it. 2 words. Miss me. My breath hitched, my stomach churned, everything unraveled. My hands clenched around the phone, my vision blurring. He wasn't done with me. This wasn't over. This would never be over, because he knew the truth, and worse. So did I. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have told the truth, or kept it buried? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. What happens next? You decide.